Alright, here we go. Mario Kart World tier list. Here we go. So this is based on my opinions of the track, how well they race, maybe some competitive viability. I'm gonna go through it all with these tracks. So, number one, we're gonna start with the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst. Alright. We're gonna start with the worst, and then the rest of them we'll loop back around or whatever. The worst track in all of Mario Kart World. You guys might already know if you've watched me play Mogies. If you actually watch the streams, you know this is the worst track in the game. This track is completely miserable and messy to race. The water physics, so there's something about the water physics that I think most people don't understand that's different about this track than other tracks. So, water slows you down, right? Everybody knows this. Yeah, I'll still be live, Kimmy, no problem. The main thing that people don't know about this game with water physics is they slow you down. Yes, we all get that. What does every other water track besides Snow Peak, fucking Snowview Peak have in common? All of the water has splashy areas or tricks nearby. This map feels like dog shit to be able to trick on anything and then land back in that water. There's no splashes going on. There's cheeps jumping out the shit, making you go even slower. It is miserable. This track is completely miserable. There's so many just RNG elements. The item at the end mattering the most, you know, that turn is abysmal. The out of bounds in that area is also pretty bad. This track is unredeemable. I'm sorry. This is one that they would need like a serious water update, which I guess is possible, but I just don't see it happening. This track is pretty bad. So up next, I don't even know where to start next. Let's just pick an area. Let's go Mario Bros. Circuit. A very standard track. This track is like okay. I don't honestly know how I feel about it quite yet. It could go anywhere, honestly. It's kind of just dead in the water because Mogies don't really pick it. So I don't really know its competitive viability. But it's kind of all over the place. Front running has a chance. Bagging. It's a very balanced track. It's hard to tell what its place in the game is competitively. So I don't know. I enjoy the track. It's just a little bit gives you that weird feeling when it gets picked. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen. And as a competitive player, you don't want mystery in the game. Let's go for an oddball track that people wouldn't expect. I was gonna go for DK Spaceport there, but let's not do that. Let's go for instead Airship Fortress, another one that I think my take will be pretty controversial on. A lot of people love this track. It is very small. And it's fun to race, it's fun to front run. It's hard to say exactly where it would go, but I cannot put a track like this in a game that is considered for 24 players. In Mogies, sure, it's a little bit more manageable with 12 players, but there's two ways to play this map. It is front run or get the bullet bill bullet extension before the cannon. And for that reason, I cannot put it higher. It's a C tier track. This track is not very good for this game. I think this track was made before they decided to make this game 24 players, and they're like, hey, this track's like okay, let's keep it in. That one's staying there. Up next, we'll pick a track that people don't expect I'd like that much, but this one I think is actually pretty good. The ending is pretty bullshit because it's Peach Beach. There's always going to be luck involved. I think this track's either low A tier or B, high B. I think we'll put it at high B for now. I really like how this map changes. I think there's some try-hard areas where you can get a breakaway. I think the first two sections really are a decent way to get ahead. I think it's a pretty good balanced map. Maybe my opinion will change on that one. Let's go for another one. Let's go for a more common one. Shy Guy Bazaar. I think this track is completely different from the track that I loved from the 3DS. In a good way. It feels good. It's really rewarding technically. I think it forces you to play around rails a lot more than most of the tracks in this game, and learning how to, or learning when to give up a rail or not. This one's really important. And that ending shortcut, although very broken, you can definitely get ahead on this map if you're Sweat. That rail shortcut is very, very good. And I think it's a good balanced track between the two playstyles. I mean, if you're acing that shortcut every time, like, you should always be getting like a top spot. And even if you're doing like that dirt cut at the end, you're gonna get like a 4th or 5th place. So it's like I don't see it as that much of an issue, that cut. I think it's more of a skill track than a luck track. Up next, let's pick Whistle Top Summit. So this track, it's fun. I like a lot of the shortcuts and stuff on this track. The rails, it's kind of weird how the autoplay, I've said this a few times, it's weird how the autoplay level, the level that plays the map for you the most, is the track that's the jankiest. This track is an unbelievably janky with its shroomless cuts, its wall rides, its rails, like it pulling you along, like that one that goes around the loop inside the cave. Like, you get stuck on that shit, you cannot get off. And that's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel good, man. Like, most of the stuff in this map does not feel good. Unless you're, like, doing the actual world record strats. And for that reason, I cannot put it higher in C, and it might go in the worst of the worst, honestly. We'll see. I think this track is far worse than Airship Fortress. And the ending shortcut, yeah, there's way too much going on there. Next up. I don't know where I want to place this one yet. Let's go for a controversial one next. Acorn Heights. I think this track is super cool. I think the vines, I love a tree area. I love a new environment for a Mario Kart game. I love it. The problem with this level is the rails are too defining. It's too much, and I think that rail ending on this track is the worst design in Mario Kart history of all tracks ever. I think the fact that you either take that rail or you're giving up positions is so incredibly brutal. And not only because you're giving up positions for that, there's a mushroom shortcut right behind you. Lap 3, people can just boost through. You decide to take those rails, they're gonna mushroom you off. You just automatically fall off. You don't do that, they're gonna boost through and they're gonna get those rails and you're gonna get free positions. It is unbelievably brutal. The shock can be used there and hit literally the entire lobby for very, very bad effects. This is the worst. I don't know. This is bottom 2, bottom 3 territory. This is one of the worst tracks ever. As of design, I love it. So I don't know, but I mean design as in like the environment and stuff. I like where we're at with this map, but like it was not made well. And I think it's only gonna get worse as people start to learn the shroomless or the shroom cut shroomless, and it's only gonna get worse. Which I guess could be an advantage for front running it as well. More people could just take the shortcut shroomless, which would give you more of a leeway to take the vines, but I don't know. I think it's just a bad design. I mean, that shortcut's not even designed to be taken shroomless. So, we can't really give it credit for that. Alright, we need a better song. Alright, this'll work. Up next we have... Let's go on a more positive positive note. Toad's Factory. I think this is a strict upgrade from Mario Kart Wii. I'm kind of surprised saying that. I didn't think this track was going to be any good in this game. The mud section is way less brutal in this game. The ending cut, the lake cut, we don't have to worry about no TF input because we're just skipping it and the lake ain't even there. I think it's better for front running. It's got the mud there so that you can just boost through as well. I think this is a much better track. The only thing that sucks about this track is I think they dropped the ball on design-wise. The fact that all of the alternate routes are bad or even is kind of like weird. I mean, I don't know. That one's kind of weird, but I'll put it like A or top of B. Next up, speaking of B, let's go Boo Cinema. I think this track is pretty bad competitively, but I love the environment, so I can't put it that low. This track is pretty strictly a front run track. It's either that or get the shock dodge. The ending is really bad. The hidden tricks people complain about. I mean, I don't hate them. I think it's the stupid ROM hacker child in me loves that there's little hidden trick areas in a Boo level where there's like normally like hidden routes and stuff. I don't know. That's just me being stupid. You bring that up in an actual conversation, people will bash you for it, so whatever. I don't know. I'll put it... is it worse or better than Airship? That's the question. I think it's better than Airship, which might say something for these two tracks. But we'll see. Okay, this is not a track. Is it? Is this really the picture for Peach Stadium? Wow, okay. Well, Peach Stadium, up next. I really like this track. I think the biggest problem is the routes are the same speed. The alternate route, I like the alternate route a lot because it takes you out of like the chaos of the track for so long. After doing a mushroom cut that took you out, like got you away from it. So as soon as they catch up, like the items can't even like affect you at that point. But after that, the chaos ensues. I like the little boost trick at the end you can do to go into the finish line, pass some people there. I think this track's really fun. I'd say it's over Toad's Factory, honestly. That one's a really solid track. It's fun for bagging. It's fun for catching up. It's fun for front running. I think there's just some chaotic elements in that 70% range of that track. Let's go Bone Dry Dunes next. This track is crazy. The shortcuts are really fun on it. That bottom route is unacceptable. Like, well, I don't know what they're doing with that. I think at some point in testing or something, rails were faster than they are in this, or at least landing from rails, which they did just buff. So maybe that is a part of it. But yeah, this track you could totally notice like the landing from rails slowing you down. As of competitively, I mean, the ending shortcut's really bad for running. I don't know. This one's hard to say. I'm not even sure if it's a luck track yet or not. I'd probably lean on it being more of a balanced track than anything, but maybe it's a running track still. I think it's maybe top of B over Peach Beach. It's a pretty good track, but it's got some chaotic occurrences that can happen there. Up next, let's go one of my favorite tracks that they put in this. The only problem with this track, I love this track a lot. The only problem with this track is it's not 3 laps. That's my feel. Or maybe 2 laps. I don't know, 1 lap feels too short for this. And it gets too chaotic right there on Mario Circuit 3, but there's some really cool strats on this. I think it's one of the better bagging tracks that we've had in Mario Kart, and for that reason, I mean, I'm gonna put it up here. I think it's a really solid track. It's really fun to drive, and I love how they connected it. I think they had a lot of fun with it, and you can kind of feel the fun that they had in it just by playing it. Let me change the title of the stream or the game. Okay, so up next, let's go Starview Peak. Despite what my record is with this track, like I've got a really good streak of wins on this track. Like I had 6 straight wins basically in Mogies with this track. I think it's pretty flawed, all things considered. I literally just cheesed this. Wait, why is my webcam gone? How long has my webcam been gone? This entire time? It has. Wow. Messing up the YouTube video already. Nobody wanted to tell me. Nice. Okay. Alright, now you can see me. Nice. Okay, we're back. Starview Peak, despite my record being very positive for this track, I think it's very gimmicky, and I've just been abusing one thing, which is get mushrooms, get triple mushrooms, do the cut, get on the rail. There's a golden rail across the map, on the sides of the map, that should count as water speed, but it doesn't, and you can just take normal speed on that rail. The super blooper, or the baby blooper, whatever, has like +6 road speed, so just driving on that, you just pass everybody, even if you go through the rings. It's incredibly broken, and people know about it, but it's like, if you're the first one to do it, you can really make a breakaway. And you just hold the triple shrooms, and you try and get a dodge item, and that's basically a GG on that map. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in C tier, maybe top of C tier. I think it's fun, it's just, I don't know. I think they poorly designed, and it needs nerfed, probably. Up next, for probably my favorite track in the game, Wario Shipyard. I think this track is wonderfully made. I'm so glad to see it back. I can't believe a forgotten track like Shipyard even had a chance to come back. Especially like a darker one. Nintendo likes the brighter ones, the more appealing to kids returning tracks typically. Hi, me, welcome in. We're doing a Mario Kart World tier list right now. This track has done well for me competitively. It's got some really cool strats. I like the ending cut. I like the beams that you can go on. I like how everything feels. Trapping on this track is like still okay. Everything you can trap is like still manageable to get around. The feather cut's cool. I don't really use it, but it's there, and I think it's pretty decent. The sand cut, I like the little stakes sticking up in the sand so that you can do it with a feather, or still get a trick there or whatever. Just carry yourself a little farther, and I don't know, this track just feels right, and I'm very happy with this one. Stub, what's up? Welcome in. So yeah, I think this one's probably confirmed as my top one. I probably should have saved it for a little bit later, but we'll see as we go through more of these. There are still some S tiers in here. So, up next, let's go to something more middle ground-y. Let's go with Meadows. This track is another straight upgrade of a Mario Kart Wii track. This track is amazing. They took a very boring, bland track, probably the worst in Mario Kart Wii. Maybe I'm wrong saying that, but probably the worst in Mario Kart Wii. The shortcuts on this track are really rewarding. There's one at like every corner of the map. It's always been kind of a luck track, but now like there's like exposed reasons for that. But this can also be a running track. If you get a mushroom, you can take that really broken cut where the tree is, and if you're really sweaty, you can get away with that way. But like people still have so many opportunities to catch up. I think this track is a really good balance of the two. And I would honestly put it over. Shit, do I put it over Peach Stadium? I don't know if I put it over Peach Stadium, but we'll put it above Toad's Factory for now. I think that track's really good. And I'm not a big Meadows fan. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of bad races on the original Meadows. and I don't really like it in 8. I think the biggest problem in 8... Okay, so a lot of people didn't even notice this when they played 8. They took away an item box on Meadows, which is, like, catastrophic to the game. Like, that map only having 2 item boxes means not only can you miss an item, and that would completely ruin your race, 2 item boxes only gives you 6 items in a race. So if you were, like, in a decent spot, like 4th or something, you're only going to get bad items that race. And yeah, it's just really bad. Alright, let's go to a next map. Let's go to another bad one. Koopa Troopa Beach. I think this map is complete dog shit. 5 laps. It is not balanced for this game. I don't even know how to race it right now. There's not really a good option. You can run if you want. You can hide if you want. You can fucking bag if you want. And no matter what, it just feels like you're rolling the dice on this one if you're doing well or not. And for that reason, I'm probably gonna put it here. It could honestly be the worst, but I hate Cheep Cheep that much that for now, Cheep Cheep's at the bottom. Maybe Koopa Troopa is worse, but it's pretty terrible. That track should never be picked. Up next, let's go for... I don't know if I'm ready for Choco Mountain yet. Let's go Salty Salty. This track's got some really cool tech. It's just another one of those weird water ones where some of the turns just feel like you don't have enough time for... So if you trick in the water, there is a time frame, there's a buffer between when you can drift and when you can land and regain your speed and start to drift. So if you land and you try to drift too early, you're just gonna hop, and hopping just slows you down even farther in the water. And then if you don't get your drift out, like if you hop, you're going too slow to the point where you can't drift anymore because the water's slowing you down as well, and you can't make it around that corner. And that's like really, really bad if that happens. So you gotta like stall that one out, but like this track has like the craziest learning curve of like any of the tracks. It's got some crazy strats. It's not very accessible, and the ending cut is very polarizing. I cannot put it high, I'm sorry. I think this track's pretty okay, but like all of its strats are really jank. This one is probably going... I'm gonna put it here. As much as I love Birdo, I don't think that track was, I don't know. It wasn't, I don't know. The strat where you jump off the wall onto the top route, go around, trick onto the canopy, and then onto the rail, and then trick over to the trees and skip a whole corner right there. That strat does not feel like it was intended at all, and that one's one of the more jank in the game. To the point I don't even like consider learning it yet, but that one's definitely interesting. Let's go to another one. These are the same track, right? These two? Crown City and Crown City Night? Yeah, these are the same track. Alright, whoever made this was probably high. They didn't even put Peach Stadium twice. Unless I'm crazy. Alright, Desert Hills. Relit was waiting on this one. I think this track is a better version of Desert Hills from the Wii. I think they just aced all the Wii tracks. Desert Hills, it plays pretty well. The ending cut that used to have the humps, a lot of people are disappointed about it. Yeah, I kind of get it though. For another reason that people hate this game for. I don't think they understand what they're talking about. So, there's a mechanic where if you're landing from a jump and you land on somebody's head, you will bounce off them and automatically trip. This was put into the game because there's literally 24 fucking people in this game. You land on somebody, you're gonna lose so much speed and get shifted around, pushed around, whatever, thrown off the track so often in this game that they added this little mechanic where you trick off people's head. And if the humps on this track were in this game and you were going over one of the humps and you landed on somebody, you would so often go into the next hump of sand and lose all of your speed. So I think that's one of the main reasons why jumping off people's heads is in this game, but also why this track doesn't have the humps. On top of that, this track is still a luck track, but I don't know, I've had the most success like soft bagging, so I'll wait till like sixth place and then get a decent item and then try to go for a mushroom or something. Take little cuts every lap, and it ends up working out pretty well for me. But this ending cut at the end, it's interesting because it's not as good as you think it is until you've played it a few times. Like there's a rail on the side where you can what are they called? Grind rail. But it doesn't allow you to get into the water area to the side. So it's kind of interesting, like ending this area, because you gotta move in and out of this little area right there, and it slows you down a reasonable amount. And then if you leave the cut and you're in the water area, then you're losing speed there. And if you don't leave into the water area, you gotta go around the ending there. So I don't know. I don't think it's that brutal of a luck track anymore, and that's really interesting to say for this track. I think it's a lot better. Honestly, it might be over here somewhere. I like that one a lot more in this game. But we'll see where it ends up overall. I told Rowlett I don't know if it's even going to be top 19. That kind of looks like a top 19 spot. Let's go for the next one. We'll go with, I believe this is Crown City. The proper one. This track is stupid. The only thing that matters is lap 3, where the shock is used. The ending shortcut's cool. Really cool. I just wish it wasn't so polarizing. Maybe not at the end either. This track, I don't know. It can give some good races, which is kind of tied with Acorn. It's just not as fun to play, even over Acorn. So I think I have to put it here in a bottom 4 spot for now. Yeah, it's just like you play the whole map, and it's just like you're bored the entire time because you need to get those mushrooms for those off-road routes. And then when it finally happens, everything goes to hell. Like, you make the plan. What does he say? Captain Cold in the Flash. He's like, make the plan, execute the plan, forget the plan or something like that, and something like that. Freestyle, basically. That's basically what happens. Up next, let's go for a really sweaty track. Great Question Mark Ruins. This track wasn't designed to be as sweaty as it became, but it's definitely up there. I think it's one of the more fun sweaty tracks as well. I think even over some of the other ones you'll see in the top spots. This one's really fun to race. And I think it's a lot of people's favorite track. In both good players and casuals. The shortcut at the end is really fun to watch. I think the biggest problem with this track, honestly, is the U-turn at the end not being intuitive. You kind of have to drift into it, lose your speed, and then mushroom. And recently I've found that the better way to take that shortcut is to not trick on the clouds before that, so that you have a little more space to deal with and you can cut off a little more rather than boosting ahead and then finally taking it and then you don't cut off as much. So it's interesting. It's got levels, and I don't think this track has evolved to the highest peak yet at all. I think this is a pretty good spot for it. It might be better than Shy Guys, though. I'll put it here. I think it's a better comp track than Shy Guys, so I'll put it there. Another track that I've been enjoying playing, but I don't know how good it is Dandelion Depths. This track, it's got a very simple game plan of have a boosting item for the last turn. It's got some cool strats with going on the water area and riding this these little rails that don't feel like they should be helping you out, but they do, because you get back to your whatever it's called, terrain speed over and over again. It helps out a lot. These little fuckers that fly above you are sometimes annoying, but I think this track's really solid, and I'd say one of the better balanced tracks in this game. I would put it above Peach Stadium, honestly. That one's really good. Really solid track, and I think they put a lot of thought into it. The spiral section at the beginning is a little weird too. So I don't know, maybe these two are interchangeable, I don't know. Up next we'll go DK Pass. This track, I'm still learning how good the wall ride at the beginning is for first place. So my opinion of this track might shift greatly. But overall, this track is... They balanced it a lot more. Like, this track has always been broken because of the mountain item box. Everybody knows that. We need a different song. Okay, that'll work. So this track, I don't know exactly where to put it, because I think it will shift more with that beginning shortcut. I just recently learned it. This track has some really cool shortcuts, but they're harder to execute, and I think that's good for the game, especially on a luck track like this. So I think it's better than all these tracks. So I'm gonna put it here because I have slightly less fun on this track than all of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it there. I think that's a safe spot for it. Up next, let's go DK Spaceport. I've been having really good results here, despite this track being very, like, I don't know to say boring. It's not really boring. It's, like, just straightforward. Like, use your mushroom to cut the grass off and get a little bit ahead of everybody else, because it's just such a straightforward track. But I've had a really solid time. I think this track is, like, probably here. It drives really well, but it's got some gimmicky shit. I think it's silly that the wall riding is slower on this track, in the trailer area. I think that's pretty silly. I don't know. I feel like some more strats could be learned on this track as well. I think this one could evolve. And it's not really a luck track because the areas where you can cut off, it's like not that extreme. So I don't know. That one's pretty calm. I like that one. Let's go Faraway Oasis next. So this track is kind of a demon. The rail. Okay, where do we even start on this one? The rail strats on this track are... The first rail strat, we'll say, is like really hard to react to off of that drop off, and I think that one's really pretty bad. Jumping from that rail to the side rail It's kind of unnecessary considering we could just get up there normally. And it gives you a double box. It's not very good for comp there. But I think overall this track is pretty good for comp. The thing as a whole. Everybody's going to be taking that rail cut. It's really easy to block. The world record strat where they jump out of the water, that one's pretty cool, but I don't think we're really going to be seeing that one online at any point. If you've got the mushrooms, you should be cutting off the rail part plus the cave off-road. And then that ending cut is also very annoying. I think it's probably the most important cut somehow. They managed to make the most insignificant looking cut the most vital part of the track is that little U-turn right at the end. That one's really brutal. And I think this track's pretty cool in the fact that it has two ideal shock spots in both of the rail for front runners. You can hit down everybody into the grass. That's pretty brutal. But there's also the one where people are if they're really grouped together, they're going to be trying to use every little advantage they can to get above each other. And during that waterfall section, there's like a slanted area. You can kind of see an indication of where they're at. And if they're on the right of that, they're going to fall into the water right after they've been shocked. And that area is really brutal for taking out so many people. And they lose their item there as well. And then that's really brutal because they can't get away from the water stream. And they can't do the ending cut that matters so much. So that track is, I don't know, I think that one's really good for comp. It's really hard to predict the shock on this one because there's just options. I think options is good for the game as well. So I'm going to put this one up here with DK Pass. Maybe above DK Pass, maybe above Mario Circuit, maybe above Toad's Factory. It's hard to say. This might be top of A tier. Competitively, it might be here. I'm actually gonna put it here, I think, for now. But it might go above Peach Stadium for me. Up next, let's pick another hard hitter. We'll go with Wario Stadium. This is how I feel playing this in ranked is kind of like this is like the Cortex Castle of Mario Kart World. Lots of areas to trap, a lot of tech, cool tech, shroomless options, shortcuts. This track's really fun to play, and I think it's one of the best to practice on for the game as well. I think this track is easily a top track. I think there's some jankness that might put it here with that final rail that you gotta get on top of, but I think that's more of my my skill issue more than anything. I don't know, only time will tell. I'm gonna put it here just because this track's a little more straightforward for everybody and I enjoy this track more. But this one's really chaotic. The final turn, you know what, now that I'm thinking about that final turn, it's really bringing me down. I enjoy Shy Guy Bazaar more. I'll say that. This is probably the better competitive track, but I enjoy Shy Guy Bazaar more. This one's always stressful. Okay, let's go up next. Dino Jungle, or how I call it, Dino. This track is another track where it's like, keep your mushrooms. So like, what was I saying earlier? Keep your mushrooms, keep your mushrooms, keep your mushrooms. What track was I talking about? I know this one's like that. Oh, Star View Peak. Very similar. that ending shortcut has to be done on lap 3 and debatably on lap 2 as well to avoid the dinosaur. It saves way too much time. I don't know, this track is a really solid remake, but at the same time they took out like the pit So they made that shortcut so much easier to get into and less high risk, high reward, and more of just like you should be going for this or you lose. Especially with that dinosaur, I think it's really jank. This track cannot be higher than Desert Hills, or higher than, I don't know. I think it might be here. It cannot be higher than B tier, that's for sure. This track's, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with the dinosaur thing coming out of the wall. It's in a really bad spot for people not having an item. And, like, stars and stuff don't even go through them. So, we're gonna put them there. We got Choco Mountain next, this track. Even the people that like Choco Mountain don't like this version. This one's a little rough. It's got some cool cuts, off-road cuts at the beginning. But once you get into the inside area, it's just like total chaos going on. I think this one's actually pretty bad. I don't hate it, but like I think it's actually just a pretty bad track overall. Would I say it's down here? No, because I think this one has enough diversity in how you can play it that I think it still has way more potential for fun races. Up next, let's go. This one's not a real track. Let's go with Sky High Sunday. I think this track is very good for comp. I think it's one of the tracks. It's a tech track. Front running feels good here. Shock use is always pretty predictable on this track, if there is a shock. So there's always that element as well. Maybe there won't be a shock in a race. That's something a little more new to this game than Wii players aren't used to. I think this track overall is really solid. A lot can go bad really fast. If you don't take the shortcut at the end, you're risking a lot of spots. If you take the shortcut and you get shocked, you lose a lot of spots. It's very chaotic, but I think it leads to a lot of good races and a lot of interesting outcomes. I like the little intricacies on different ways you can take the ending cut as well. So yeah, I think this one's pretty fairly up here. Maybe it's top of A tier, but I think I'm gonna leave it in S tier for now. Up next, we're gonna have the king of S tiers probably. This track is really solid, but at the same time, it's like unintendedly solid. So I can see a lot of it getting patched. And I'm kind of surprised that one of them didn't get patched already with the sign jump. This is like Bowser Castle 3 meets Mario Kart World for sure. Like even more than Cortex Castle for Wario Stadium. But this track's really solid. I think it's really fun for running. I think there's options for catching up as farther behind targets, whatever. I don't know what to say on that. Just like people behind. The bill can be used to take the shortcut. So when I say shortcut, I'm talking about the wall jump from the sign. The bill can be used to just jump over the wall, go about 50% of the way, use the bill. The feather can be used to take the shortcut. You can do the shortcut shroomless. I don't know, this track just has options, and I like that it has options rather than just being completely dependent on skill. Which, I mean, the skill element's still there. The lava fall shortcut's really cool too. It's a lot easier than I thought it would be. A lot of people be taking that. The mushrooming through the lava can be weird sometimes. Sometimes you'll lose your drift, or the side rail of the ash or whatever doesn't give you a trick, so you gotta use like the front facing ramp. So I think it's a little buggy there. I think this track is probably up here top 3, if not number 1. I think I have to put my bias aside on this one and maybe put it number 1. This is the most picked track in Mogi Lounge. I've only played one Mogi where this wasn't played, and I think it might just be the the best track in the game. Even over my favorite track. I think I'm gonna put it there. Up next, I'm gonna put Rainbow Road. I think this is a pretty solid Rainbow Road. I think it's cool that we have a track where shock can be pulled twice pretty reliably. I don't really like the blue shell being able to despawn and shit, and it's most common on this track. The ending's really chaotic, and getting hit at the end. This track has some bad respawns. The water is one of the most beautiful places in Mario Kart history. I don't know. I think this track is really solid, despite its flaws. I think it provides some good races. It has some cool trimless shortcuts, and has a good balance between luck and skill. I think this one has a ways to go before it's capped out as well on Wi-Fi viable tech. So I'm gonna put that one there, and I believe I'm gonna move Faraway Oasis above these two. Like this one, the beginning rail's a little bit sluggish now that I'm thinking about it, and like the game plan's pretty simple, where this one has more depth. And I might put Faraway above Rainbow Road, but I'm not gonna do it for now. So yeah, I think this is my tier list. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have hate messages to leave me, go ahead and leave them in the comments. But go ahead and let me know you guys' opinions on this tier list in the comments below. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Good night.